Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is January 17th, 2024, and Xavi Hernandez has given a disappointing press conference ahead of tomorrow's clash in the Copa del Rey. Also, Barcelona's president, Joan Laporta, has visited the locker room amidst this whole chaos and aftermath of El defeat in the Clasico match. And finally, Barcelona are currently in Brazil to watch Esteban William, otherwise known as Messinho. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is Barca News' live podcast, which is on every Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where not only will I share Barcelona's news with you, but I will also read you guys' comments out loud, answer any questions, get a discussion going. Now, I know I always say this in every podcast, but I have to say it because every time people comment, your videos are so long, why are they 30, 40 minutes? And I have to explain, Mondays and Wednesdays are live podcasts, the rest of the week are 10-minute videos. I explain it over and over again, and I still get the same comments over and over again. Why is it so long? So I guess I'm going to have to keep explaining. Anyways, having said that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. Also, please participate in the chat section so we can have an amazing discussion like we always do, because you guys are the most amazing YouTube community. Also, I did post a video earlier today, so if you haven't watched it yet, make sure you check it out. Lots of good news, both financially, and there's also the good news about Jesse Lingard offering himself to Barcelona. Now, let's dive right into the news, because Barcelona will be back in action tomorrow, Thursday, January the 18th, in the Copa del Rey against Unionistas de Salamanca. And the club have announced the squad list that has been called up to participate in tomorrow's match. And that squad list consists of, and I will make this bigger for you, but it's, of course, Alejandro Valde, Ferran Torres, Pedri, Robert Lewandowski, Iñaki Peña, Joao Felix, Andreas Christensen, Uriol Romeo, Vitor Roque, Sergio Roberto, Frankie de Jong, Ilkay Gundogan, Jules Koundé, Astralaga, Marc Casado, Cochen, Fermin, Cuarsi, Pau Victor, Margiu, and Hector Fort. Now, of course, those missing are the players who are injured, which are Joao Cancelo. We still don't know exactly when he's going to come back. Hopefully soon. It's reported that it's not a serious injury. We have Iñigo Martinez, who will be out for another 3 to 4 weeks. Of course, Gabi, who will be out until the summer after undergoing ACL surgery, and Mark ter Stegen, who's expected to join the first team in trainings at the end of this month and to be back in rhythm by the beginning of February. So he will be ready for the Champions League clash against the Serie A club Napoli. Now, speaking of the Copa del Rey, of course, as it's custom, before every match, there's a press conference. Xavi gave his press conference today, and I have to say I was very disappointed with what the Barcelona coach had to say. Of course, this is the first press conference after the humiliation in the Spanish Super Cup final at the hands of Real Madrid, and after a series of humiliating matches, period, with Barcelona horribly underperforming. And I expected a fired-up Xavi who's going to get in front of the mics and say, let's go, we got this, admit what's going on wrong, be encouraged that, yes, we're going to turn things around, we're going to fix it. And that's what I expected from Xavi. He kind of gave us that, but he also gave us, or at least in my opinion, gave me a lot of disappointing answers that I did not like. Now, let's start with this statement, and I will make this bigger for you. But Xavi says, I am here because I have achieved certain targets. When I joined, they told me the goal was to finish 4th, and we finished 2nd. Last season, the goal was to win the league, and we did that and also won the Super Cup, surpassing expectations. The goal this year was to win trophies, and we are halfway through the season, and the 3 most important ones are all still to play for. We are closer to success than defeat. I want you to focus on this part, so I'll say it again. We are closer to success than defeat. This part was very troubling for me because there's no denying that there's a very, very serious problem going on with the team. We have a team who lacks identity. We have a team who lacks a style of play. We have a team who is horribly, horribly underperforming. And this does not just track back to Sunday when Barcelona lost at the hands of Real Madrid. This has been going on all season, but more specifically these past few weeks, especially right before the Christmas break. So we all know that there's a big, big problem going on that needs to be addressed, that needs to be fixed. Otherwise, there's no way that Barcelona are going to win any trophies. And even qualifying to the Champions League could be at risk. But what does Xavi tell us? Don't worry, guys. We're closer to success than defeat. That's very, very troubling because it tells me that Xavi Hernandez cannot fix the problem that's going on because he doesn't see one. In order to fix the problem, you first must admit that you have one. And second, you must identify that problem. And third, you have to find a way to fix it. If Xavi does not see any problems and he thinks we're closer to success than defeat, it means he's not planning to fix it. Because if there's no problem, then what are you going to fix? If there's a leak in my house and I don't know where that leak is coming from, how am I going to fix the pipe if I don't know where it is? And that's exactly what Xavi Hernandez sounds like when he says we're closer to success than defeat. More troubling statements because he went on and said, in the final, everything went backwards. We have analyzed a lot of things, and I see that we failed. We have evolved a lot from November 2021 until now. We can't take the example of the Super Cup. The team has evolved a lot. We have to give it continuity and evolve defensively. More troubling statements from Xavi Hernandez. He starts out good by saying, he admits that he failed during the Spanish Super Cup, but then he goes and says, we have evolved since 2021. And I'm sorry, but this team has not evolved. It's the total opposite. It has regressed. Just think about 2021 when Xavi Hernandez first took over the team. We defeated Real Madrid 4-0. Yeah, we didn't win anything, but after all, Xavi Hernandez had just taken over Koeman. It was a team full of old players. It was a team that Xavi had not built himself. So yeah, we didn't win anything, but the sensations were good. The team was showing a lot more passion. The team was a lot more exciting to watch. The team was starting to win matches. We were 9th. We ended up 2nd. Things were changing. We were all excited. Then we start Xavi's first official season. Things start out good. We're winning matches. And then half the season comes, and then Barcelona are barely scraping by. Barely winning 1-0, 0-1. Yes, we win La Liga, but again, we barely do that by very unconvincing wins. Then we start this season. Still very unconvincing, playing much worse, and we can't even scrape by matches because now we're losing matches left and right. So no, the team has not improved. The team has not evolved. It's the total opposite. It has regressed. But yet, according to Xavi, it has evolved, and we have to give it continuity. What does that mean? Again, he doesn't see a problem. He thinks things are getting better, that we should continue doing things the same way because things are getting better, even though things are not getting better. And if we do keep doing the things the same way, it's only going to get worse. So again, big problem here because it seems that Xavi is not seeing what's going on with the team. And again, if you can't see the problem, how are you going to fix it? More troubling statements by Xavi Hernandez. Again, this press conference was very, very disappointing in my opinion. But more troubling statements because he says Gabi's injury is a stab in the heart. It is a reality, or the injury to Ter Stegen, who is one of the captains. These are not excuses. It's a reality. The economic situation is a reality. We will continue to fight. There is only one Gabi in the world. It is difficult to replace such a player. We miss him. More troubling statements because all Xavi's doing here is giving us more and more excuses. That's what Xavi's been doing all season, just giving us more and more excuses every time it's something new. It's the referees. It's the pitch. It's the sun. It's the time that we played. It's this. It's that. It's never, hey, guys, we're doing something wrong. We're going to figure it out and fix it. No, it's always excuses. And now the excuse is Gabi. Well, two things I want to say about this. First of all, that excuse is a lie. Why? Because the team has played bad with Gabi on it. I'm not trying to knock Gabi down. We all know that Gabi's loss, of course, is an important one. Nobody plays as passionately, as intensely as Gabi does. He gives it his all. He gives it his 200%. So we all know how important Gabi is. But Gabi's absence from the team, it's not why the team is playing bad. The team was already playing bad even when Gabi was healthy. Second of all, even if Gabi was the reason this team is going bad, that's still not an excuse. That means you have a failed project. Because if your whole project depends on one player and that player goes away and everything falls apart, guess what? You're not doing your job right. Because when you build a project, when you're still a mechanism of play, when you're still an identity in the team, what you're doing is creating a machine that works as a one big unit with all the small parts within, knowing what they're supposed to do and doing it correctly. So if you take out one of the parts of the machine, you replace it with another one, the machine keeps working. It's like your car. You have a flat tire, you switch the tire, your car keeps working. You don't get a flat tire, you take the tire, you switch it out, and now your car doesn't work. That's not how it is. So if Xavi's telling us that the reason why the team is underperforming is because Gabi's gone, that means you still have a failed project because your whole project depends on one guy. And what happens when that guy gets injured? What happens when that guy gets suspended? What happens when that guy gets sick? What happened when that guy needs rest? You're telling me now everything's going to fall apart because you built a whole project around one guy? This is not an excuse. It is bullshit. It's a lie because the team has played bad under Gabi. And it's also a lie because it tells me that you also have a failed project because your project should not be based on one guy. And how do I know this is a cheap excuse? Because we've heard this excuse before. Xavi told us before that the reason why the team wasn't playing good was because Pedri and Frankie were injured. And that when Pedri and Frankie came back, the team was going to play good. Guess what? Pedri and Frankie came back. The team's still playing bad. Now he tells us it's Gabi. What's going to happen when Gabi comes back? Who's going to be the next excuse? I don't know. Very disappointing. Very, very disappointing press conference. And then I'll end it with this. But Xavi Hernandez did confirm what I said in yesterday's video, which is that if he doesn't accomplish the club's objective, he will leave on his own. He said, I will never be a problem for Barca. Above all, I'm a culé, and I love this club. Whatever happens, I'm here to add and to help. When they tell me that I don't contribute, I'll go home without any problems. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about the press conference. Again, extremely disappointed with this press conference. Just more and more excuses piling up from Xavi. And another thing that tells me is that Xavi does not see the problem. And if you can't see a problem, then you cannot fix it. And that's very troublesome because it tells me things are going to stay the same. And if things are going to stay the same, you can kiss goodbye to any possibilities of winning any other trophies this season. And more importantly, the Champions League could be at risk because we are fourth right now in La Liga. And if we continue on this path, we could drop even further and not qualify to the Champions League at all. And that's a problem because not only is it embarrassing and humiliating football-wise, but it's a big problem to the club economically. We need that money. Without that money, the financial problem is only going to get longer and longer. Anyways, let's start with the chat section. I know I've been talking for quite some time, but let's read some comments, answer some questions, get a discussion going, and then we will talk about John Laporta's visit to the locker room amidst this whole chaos of the Spanish Super Cup. All right, let's see. Where do we start? Charcutet says, okay, Mo, we can sign Calvin Phillips because he wants to leave Man City. And if we lose some matches, we can sack Xavi. We can't sign anyone right now until we get the 40 million euros from the sale of Barca Vision. I did make an update about Barca Vision in my earlier video. If you haven't heard it, make sure to check it out. King Hud said, I think we are capable of turning the season on its head, but the team needs to open up on how they feel and speak on and their thoughts on what they can do, and the coaches should work with their skills. That's what happened yesterday. Xavi had a very long, extensive meeting with the locker room where everybody spoke, the players, the coaching staff, everybody kind of gave their version of like what they think is going wrong, what they think they need to fix. The players took responsibility for their mistakes and for the lack of passion. And the coaching staff also took responsibility. Hopefully we could turn things around. But after today's press conference, it's not looking like Xavi realizes there's a problem with the team. He thinks everything is good. And that's it. Let's see. Tim says, Mo, why negativity again? Where's the old Mo who looks positive things? My friend, it's not about negativity. It's about reporting the news. And this is what Xavi said. It's worrisome, and we have to address it. It's not being being negative. It's simply seeing that there is a problem and not burying my head in the sand. I love this club. I want this club to succeed. And if I see there's something wrong, I have to call it out. Sitting back and just saying nothing's wrong, everything's fine, that's not being a positive person. That's not being a true fan. That's just simply lying to yourself. I love my house. And if it catches on fire, I'm not just going to sit there and say, everything is okay. Yeah, it's on fire, but this smoke, it's really giving it this rustic feel, right? It smells good. Oh, this fire, it's making the house brighter, so I don't need to turn the lights on, saving me on electricity. And it's also making it warmer. It's saving on gas because now I don't have to turn on the heater. So everything's okay. I'm just going to sit in this house while it catches on fire. No, you don't do that. You call 911. You acknowledge that there's a fire. You call 911 and you tell them to come and turn the fire off. That's what you do. You don't just bury your head in the sand because you're trying to be a positive person. That's not how life works. If there's a problem, you have to acknowledge it. You have to address it. Burying your head in the sand does not make you a negative person. It just makes you understand that there's something wrong and that you need to fix it. And that's not what Xavi's doing with these press conferences. Anyways, let's get back into the news because we have to talk about Joan Laporta, who did visit today. And I don't know why this is not working. There we go. Joan Laporta, the Barcelona president, visited the Barcelona locker room today in order to discuss what is going on. Now, the Barcelona president addressed the entire locker room, the whole squad, all of the players, and asked them to please give more effort, to please give more sacrifice, to please give more commitment, that the season is still long, that we're still in it. He believes that there's still time to revert things, that after all, we're still alive in La Liga, we're still alive in la Copa del Rey, we're still alive in the Champions League. So the Barcelona president believes that there's still time to turn things around. He said that he believes in the squad and in the players, that they can turn things around. He said he still believes in Xavi Hernandez in case any of the players had any doubts in Xavi. Laporta gave his total backing to the Barcelona president. He told that he believes in everybody, that he wants things to turn around, and that he wants more commitment, sacrifice, and effort from the entire squad. Now, the main message from Joan Laporta to the players was "Tots units fem força," which means all united, we can do it. It's a Catalan sentence from the Barcelona anthem, if you know the anthem. But that was the main message from Joan Laporta to the players, to let's all come together. Let's all trust each other. Let's all work hard on fixing this problem, on reverting this problem, on turning things around, because there's still time to turn things around, because after all, we're still alive in 3 competitions. Now, speaking of the competitions, I do want to mention something about a Copa del Rey really quick. It's going to be very important for Barcelona to make it to the final, because it does have financial implications. If Barcelona make it to the Copa del Rey final, they are guaranteed a spot in the Spanish Super Cup next year. Now, Barcelona, just for participating in the Spanish Super Cup, they get 6 million euros. Barcelona always budgets the 6 million euros in their budget for the next year. So if Barcelona do not make it to the final, they won't get those 6 million next year, and they will be short at least 6 million euros. Now, this Spanish Super Cup, the one that just ended, Barcelona ended up getting 7.3 million euros, 6 million for participating in the tournament, 1 million for making it to the final, and another 300,000 for traveling expenses, which is what the Royal Spanish Football Federation gives to all the teams that travel to Saudi. Now, had Barcelona won, they would have gotten another 500,000, so it would have been a total pot of 7.8 million, but instead they got 7.3. Not bad, given the financial situation of the club. Of course, any euro is welcome, and 7.3 million euros will definitely go a long way in helping this club. But anyways, that was the news. Laporta going to the message, going to the locker room and spreading the message. Tots units fem força. Hopefully it has resonated with the players. Hopefully it has resonated with the coaching staff, and we can hopefully see the team turn things around. All right, let's get back to the chat section. I love the chat section. My man Russ, who has donated $10. Thank you, Russ. You are amazing. I don't know why my streaming software does not allow me to see the super stickers. I know last time we couldn't see the super sticker of Chuchu. This time of Ross. I'll have to go back on YouTube and watch it. I also need to figure out how to fix this. Maybe I'll reach out to the manufacturer. But thank you, Ross, for your donation. You're amazing. Ross has been a supporter of the channel for a very, very long time, just like Chuchu. You two are amazing. And Ross says, I think we may need to be involved with the Saudis and or the Qataris to help us financially, but you are right. We don't have a bad team, honestly. Good squad, just not like that intensity goals as last season. We actually have a better squad than last season. So that's why I don't understand why the team is playing worse. Because this season we brought in Cancelo. We brought in Felix, who, yes, he's not necessarily performing, but he's still supposed to be at least a world-class player. So I don't understand what's going on. We have Vitor Roque now. Of course, he just joined. Hopefully his effect can help. We have Inigo, one of the best CBs in the league. I mean, this squad is better than last season's. We should not be doing worse. But as far as the Qataris and Saudis, but I said it in the video earlier, but there is an update about Barca Vision, and it could be an investor from the Middle East. So check out the video if you haven't seen it yet. And Chuchu says Barca needs to start selling players because his financial situation is deepening. That's the plan for the summer. There's going to be a lot of exits. Hopefully we finally get rid of all the loan players like Dest, Lenglet, etc. Obviously, Christensen is going to be on a chopping block. Eddie Garcia. There's going to be sales. That's definitely happening. Okay, one more and we'll get back to the news because Grandmaster Yoda says, I don't think that Gabi one's bad. Gabi is basically what Xavi wants, personified. Iñaki Peña is also nowhere near Ter Stegen. Ter Stegen was playing, we would not have conceded that many goals. Two disagreements. First of all, the Gabi thing. Yes, he is an important player. But like I said, the team has had plenty of horrible matches with Gabi on it. So that is not an excuse. So that excuse is not true. And even if it was, again, if your whole project depends on one player, that means you're doing a bad job. Your project should not depend on just one player, and when that player gets injured or gets suspended, everything falls apart. That means you have a failed project. Second of all, yes, Ter Stegen is better than Iñaki Peña. Don't get me wrong. But I see a lot of people blaming Iñaki, and it's not Iñaki's fault what happened against Real Madrid. If Ter Stegen was playing against Real Madrid, you better know that Real Madrid would have still scored those 4 goals. There's nothing that Iñaki Peña could have done for any of those goals. Maybe the first one, I think when you play with a defensive line that's very high up the field, I think the goalie should know to stand at the top of the box instead of the little box. And Iñaki was at the little box. He should have been way more ahead. That way, at least if the other team makes a deep pass, you at least have the chance to run and intercept that ball, whether kick it back or kick it out of bounds. That's where he made a mistake. He was not at the top of the box. He was in his little area. That was his mistake. But again, when you have a coach who doesn't tell players what to do on the field, just throws them out there and hopes for the best, you expect it. But Ter Stegen or not, you best believe that Real Madrid would have still punished us because this team is just very sad to watch. Okay, let's get back to the news because we have to talk about Messinho. Let's talk about Esteban Willian, otherwise known as Messinho. Apparently, he doesn't like the nickname Messinho. He prefers Esteban Willian, so I'm just going to call him Esteban, just out of respect for the player's wishes. But let's talk about Esteban, the 16-year-old Brazilian gem who is driving the whole world crazy with all the clubs after him wanting to sign him. But he only wants Barcelona. Now, Messinho is currently playing the Copinha, which I talked about in a previous video. If you don't know what the Copinha is, it's an under-20 tournament in Brazil where 120 clubs participate. So all the clubs from all the different divisions in Brazil send their under-20 teams to this Copinha. It's a 1-month tournament. It's pretty much a way for Brazil to show their young talent to the entire world. It's pretty much like a flea market of players where every club that can afford it sends scouts. They scout all these different players. I mean, 120 clubs. There's 20-something players on each club. I mean, you do the math. We're talking about thousands of youngsters playing in this tournament. So it's definitely a big market where all clubs send scouts. They check out what's going on. They sign players. That's how Barcelona found out about Endrick, about Vinicius, about Rodrigo, about Vitor Roque. So definitely a big event when it comes to future players. Now, what the news is that Barcelona do have currently 2 scouts in Brazil watching every match of Messinho. Now, you might ask, well, why are they doing that? Hasn't Barcelona decided to sign him already? Yes, Barcelona have given the green light to sign Messinho. They're working with his agent, André Curie, in order to come up with a plan to sign him. Of course, the plan is that Messinho will tell Palmeiras, I only want to go to Barcelona. He's going to reject all the other offers, forcing Palmeiras to only negotiate with Barcelona. And that way Barcelona can offer a payment plan because Barcelona cannot pay the 60 million euros all up front. So that's the plan. And yes, Barcelona have given the green light to this plan. But the 2 scouts are there to watch Messinho play more closely because they want to know exactly what profile would fit him better at the team. They're seeing what his leadership skills are like, how he gets along with his teammates, etc. So they're doing more scouting of how he would fit in Barcelona versus scouting on whether to sign him or not. Because again, Barcelona have decided to sign him. So the scouts are there to see how they can fit him into the Barcelona scheme. So good news again, because more advances on Estebao front. I was going to say Messinho, but on the Estebao front, of course, I reported before, Chelsea are in Sao Paulo trying to convince the player to sign for them. But the player so far is holding his ground and is saying no, even though Chelsea are offering to pay his entire release clause, 60 million euros upfront, cash. Anyways, let's get back to the news because we have more news. I mean, the comment section. All right, let's see. My goodness. Let's see. This thing moved on me, and I have no idea where we left off. Okay, RB says he just needs to resign and have respect. Otherwise, he'll be sacked, and it's not cool. I don't think he'll be sacked. They got to respect to the Xavi's, legend status. He'll probably be asked to resign. Plus, Xavi himself has said he would resign if things go bad at the end of the season. I'm not a fan of switching coaches midway through the season. So even though I believe that Xavi should not be Barcelona's coach, I still think he should finish the season for many reasons. First of all, when you quit halfway through the season, it's just a chaos, right? The team is in total disarray. You're going to bring in an interim coach, or maybe you do sign a coach, and that coach is coming midway through the project. He doesn't know what's going on, and none of the players that there are his, signings. It's a total mess. I don't like it. Plus, at the end of the season, you have a lot more options, right? You have coaches whose contract have ended. You have coaches who have been sacked, coaches who have resigned their teams, or even coaches who still have a team, but they're more likely to leave their team during the summer break versus leaving halfway through the season and leaving their former team, hanging. So a lot more options in the summer to sign someone. You can find a better, this whole signing midway through the season, you only have a few options and you just sign whoever you can find. And now you have another coach that you didn't want. It's only going to make things worse, and it's only going to prolong the misery. So I prefer to wait until the end of the season. Plus, when you sign a coach in the summer, that coach, now he has his whole summer transfer market to get rid of the players he doesn't want, to sign players he does want. Then he has the preseason to plan things, to train the team, to teach the team his style. Anyways, you get it. I'm not a fan of switching coaches midway through the team, but I do. So I do prefer that Xavi continues. Grandmaster Yoda. Oh wait, I already read this one. Sorry, Grandmaster Yoda. Let's see. KF says Xavi doesn't want to talk negative about him or the players, but he must address this to the squad behind the scene. It's so hard to understand all the players in the world. Xavi can't see the issues. I mean, it's not even talking about negative. It's about confronting the reality and saying, look, there's a big problem. This is what the problem is, and I promise we're going to work hard to fix it. But this whole I don't see a problem. We're getting better. We're evolving. We're actually closer to success. What success? We just got humiliated in the Super Cup. We are 7 points behind in the Liga, or 8 points, 7 or 8. Doesn't matter. But the way we're going, we're going to end up losing it. No way we can win the Champions League. I mean, get that out of your minds. And in the Copa del Rey, honestly, I'm not even confident about tomorrow's match. We struggled against UD Barbastro, a 4th division team. At that point, these players are amateurs. This is your Sunday league team, and we struggle against them. And tomorrow's team is a third division team. So it's even a division higher. So I'm not even confident about tomorrow's match. So what success is Xavi talking about? I have no idea. Anyways. Let's see. And Paya says, this fire joke is literally on fire, man. Made my day. Thanks. I appreciate you. All right, let's get back. This is just short, 2 brief newses or segments of news, and then we will end the live stream. But I'll do, of course, a few more comments afterwards, or a lot more comments to keep it going. Again, this is the live podcast where I interact with people. Please stop commenting. Why are your videos 30 minutes long? I'm tired of explaining why. Anyways, let's get back to the news, because today the Barcelona Femeni showing Xavi, showing the first team or the men's team how things should be done, because they absolutely destroyed Real Madrid 4-0 in the Spanish Super Cup semifinal, and the women's team are now off to the final of the Spanish Super Cup. Guys, I don't know if you watch the Barca Femeni or not. If you don't, I highly, highly recommend that you do. Barcelona airs their matches on YouTube for free, so you don't have to add any more subscription. I know these days, you have to have 20 subscriptions, and even though it's $5 here, $10 here, you end up paying $1,000 for all these subscription services. Don't worry, it's completely free on YouTube. Highly recommend you watch them. If you miss Pep Guardiola's Barca, Luis Enrique's Barca, the Barcelona DNA, the good Barca that we haven't seen since 2017, watch the Barca Femeni. They're absolutely amazing. I had the privilege of seeing them live last season. They won 5-0 against, I think it was Valencia. No, Villarreal. It was against Villarreal. Total, it was a spectacle. Amazing. But anyways, they're off to the Spanish Super Cup final after defeating Real Madrid 4-0. Again, I think these ladies should train with the men, teach them a few things. Their coach, who has decided to leave, should maybe sit down with Xavi and teach him a few things. Anyways, more news about the Barca Femeni, because I forgot to mention this, but our own Aitana Bonmati has won FIFA's Best Player Award, another award to add to the cabinet. Of course, she has already won the UEFA's Best Player, and she has also won the Ballon d'Or. It's pretty amazing because for many years we had, of course, Alexia Putellas, the best female player in the world, who has won everything there is to win. And now Alexia Putellas is towards the end of the career, and you're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And voila, there comes Aitana Bonmati, the next queen bee, the next pretty much best female player in the world. And there she is in the Barcelona Femeni. We're so blessed to have the best players in the world when it comes to our women's team. Of course, unlike our men's team, where once we lost Messi, we haven't been able to replace him. Thankfully, we have Bonmati, who is more than fit to fill in Alexia Putellas' shoes once Putellas decides to hang it up. Anyways, that is all the news. Let's do some comments, and then we will end the live stream. You guys are amazing with all these comments. But Roger says, Xavi is in time warp trying to play the football he played, but the players not at that level. I agree the players are not that level. He said it himself. This is not 2010 Barca, and it's not. But I don't even think Xavi's trying to play the same football he played, because I don't think he can get his idea across, because he's really well. He explains his idea and his strategy really well during press conferences, but then you don't see any of it on the field. So there's obviously a disconnect. And I think the problem is at this point is that Xavi does not know how to explain his strategy. Now you might say maybe it's the players who don't understand it. And initially I used to think maybe that's true, but you're telling me Cancelo cannot understand what Xavi has to explain. You're telling me Frankie, you're telling me Gabi, you're telling me Pedri, you're telling me Ilkay Gundogan, who played under Pep. You're telling me all these players cannot understand Xavi's ideas? I highly doubt it. These are world-class players. These are highly gifted players, and tell me they're the problem, that they're the ones who are not understanding Xavi's ideas. I highly, highly doubt that. I think it's Xavi who doesn't know how to explain his ideas. And that's a problem, because you could be the smartest, most genius tactician, but if you cannot explain your tactics to your team, then what's the point of having all those bright ideas, right? You have to be able to do both. You have to be able to be a good tactician. You have to be able to teach and explain those tactics to your players. Okay, let's see. Let's do more. Moses says Jules Koundé needs to be put on in his place as well. Playing Jules Koundé as a right back are more solid defensively, and he has the quality to put in good crosses. I agree. I do like him a lot as a right back. I don't know what happened to him as a center back because he was one of the best center backs in Europe last season, and now it's like no idea what happened to him. I don't know if he got a lobotomy over the summer and didn't tell anybody. I don't know what's going on with him, but at the same time, it's the whole team, right? The whole team's level has gone down. So I don't think it's a Jules Koundé problem specifically. Obviously, his level has gone down, but he's not the sole cause of our problems. Now, all the players on the team's level has gone down. Let's see. But I do like him on the right back position, so I will say that. All right. Moses also says Lewandowski needs to be benched. He's not hungry to score goals. Ferran Torres is better coming off the bench than anything else. I agree. I think it's time to start giving Margiu, obviously Vitor Roque, more time. I don't know about starting him yet, only because Vitor Roque just arrived. So he's still getting adjusted to Barcelona. He's getting adjusted to European football. So I don't know about starting Vitor Roque right away, but I do want to see him more. Maybe bringing him in 30 minutes, 40 minutes instead of just 10, right? Same with Margiu, right? I don't know about starting Margiu because he's technically a juvenil team, an under-19 youth team. So I don't know about starting him right away, but definitely, maybe the last 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then slowly give him more and more time. But yeah, I agree. Lewandowski should be benched, especially as Gu and Vitor Roque start getting more playing time and more continuity, start giving him more minutes. And then eventually, yes, start Vitor Roque and maybe bring Lewandowski the last 30 minutes, invert the situation. But I do agree with you. And yes, Ferran Torres is much better off the bench than as a starter. By the way, Vitor Roque, I know a lot of people were saying, oh, why didn't Vitor Roque play the final? Same thing, why he didn't play the semifinal is because he was feeling discomfort. I know a lot of people were like, Xavi sucks. He didn't bring in Vitor. Look, I'm all for criticizing Xavi, but let's criticize him for the right reasons, not for misunderstood reasons. And he did have a right excuse not to play Vitor Roque, which was discomfort. Okay, let's see. One more, and then we will end this. But Dwight says, Barcelona is getting karma reasons way because you guys get rid of Messi and Suarez for the end of their contracts. Messi's contract had already ended. So the club did not get rid of Messi before his contract ended. As far as Luis Suarez, I mean, he was done, my friend. Luis Suarez was one of the best nines we had. He gave us a lot. We'll always be thankful. He will always be a Barca legend. We're always going to remember him. But when Barcelona got rid of him, and they did it in the most horrible way, Koeman calling him up and just said, hey, we don't count on you. Look for a new club. And then hanging up. It was a 40-second conversation. Horrible way to do that to a legend. So no denying that. The way Barcelona handled the whole Suarez situation was awful. But nonetheless, it was the right decision. They should have done it in a better way. They should have, called him up, sat in a meeting, thanked him. Hey, thank you for everything you did. But, it's time to part ways. They should have organized a little farewell for him. That's how they should have done it. But regardless, it was the right decision. Luis Suarez was old. He was overweight. He was heavy. He was slow. He wasn't coming back to defend anymore. It was time for him to go. And as far as Messi, his contract had already ended. Barcelona did not get rid of him before his contract ended. Anyways, so again, that's what I see. I'm all about criticizing the team and the players and Xavi, but do it based on the truth. Don't do it based on lies or things that didn't happen. All right, so that is it for today, guys. Thank you again. I did a video earlier today. Lots of good news in it. Check it out. This is, again, the Barca News podcast where I interact with people. That's why they're longer. But don't worry. I will put timestamps and chapters in the timeline so you can skip through the discussion and you can stop telling me, why are your videos so long? Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a good night or a good morning and wherever you are. And as always, Visca Barça.